These are short snippets from the Quantum Future breakout sessions.
Chris Ervin, security on quantum focus area. You had a small select group in that to start with, but I think you did have some
Quality,
discussion.
not quantity. No, we had a good discussion. Maybe the couple of key challenges or insights that came up, certainly challenges, many still, and I think it cuts across not just security, but quantum tech, many still just at the stage of figuring out what's possible and when. And we sort of had some suggestions. So like things like this, networking is key. So this is suggested approaches, I guess, to this topic. Continued networking, certainly that startups, SMEs have a key role to play to bridge maybe academics and major industry, because academics can build sort of one of, but that's where they get their key technical paper of, and major industry needs multiple units of that are version controlled that they can go and break and then come back and ask for the next one, sort of thing. So a couple things in there. You're talking cybersecurity, so you're always going to raise the infamous NCSC report, and similarly in the US, the NSA's got a similar report about not recommending it now, and their effect on basically innovation in this sector, because it's a shame. I don't think the effect is necessarily what's intended. They have a particular rule about, because what they say is seen as endorsement. But there's probably a finer line that they can walk to promote innovation. It's not ready for the limelight, same as post-quantum and other new tools. But the key is right now innovation in this space. And so again, sort of some suggested approaches related to this topic is publishing maybe some key thought leadership, certainly in this space, and it probably applies to quantum computing as well. Getting out, describing succinctly key first use cases. What's the value add to customers? How are they going to use it? What's it going to look like, especially in cyber, and probably the same for quantum computing. Hard to give a tangible sense of what it looks like in my hand when I'm using it, when it's doing something that helps me. I mean, another key challenge that's out there is just a fair apples to apples comparison of the different quantum safe tools. Certainly in academics, there's been this very unhelpful war being waged between quantum and modern crypto people. But in the real world, when sort of solutions are built, they're all just tools in a toolbox, and probably they're going to be combined and layered and this kind of thing. So this still speaks to maybe some key thought leadership in fairly comparing and pointing out both the pros and cons of each tool and how you might layer them. Sort of related was also in terms of the approaches, engaging with some key standards initiatives. It's security again, so just like quantum computing, but even more so, you need to adhere to the key standards, whether it's ETSI or ITUT or FIPS, that kind of thing. And maybe something that gets forgotten a little bit is security assurance providers. It's not just about standards, but it's about putting it in the hands of white hat hackers and making sure that they still can't get into it. And then I captured it down as, but it's a negative, apologies. What new quantum business models and innovative new value change could we explore? I guess I have an open-ended question, because how will sovereign supply chain requirements fit with the global supply chain? In cyber, everyone wants a sovereign solution. And this is going to hinder innovative sort of new value change, certainly across national borders. This is also embedded in sort of export control policies. And increasingly across quantum computing, you've got protectionist policies. Every country, it's been touched on, wants to create the quantum computer and have every other country buy from them and not buy from any other countries. And this is sort of a no-go. So apologies that it's a negative thing, but it's certainly a challenge to get to innovative new value change, figuring out it was said a couple of times, figure out what you're good at, what others are good at, and maybe break down some of these barriers that are otherwise being thrown up by governments short-sightedly. I think that captures a bit of it.
Yeah, no, it's a great point you raised at the last bit, because as I said, I've been working in this space for some time, and whether it's sort of health applications or like electric vehicles, we're seeing it now playing out in the UK of, are we going to have a gigafactory, and where are we going to get the technology from for the batteries or the vehicles? And those are relatively benign bits of technology, and how we get our heads around what we're going to do in this quantum and AI space, I think is a big challenge because I think this is going to be a global collaboration, or it's going to be a global sort of competition sort of type thing, and you've got to understand that as technologists and investors and corporates on how we're going to navigate this space. So it's a good point in that there. thank you all very much for your participation today. Really like to thank, first of all of you for participating. You know, I think hopefully you found from this, it's as much as the other people in the room who've been there having discussions, meeting new people, meeting old friends, and that within the ecosystem. And as I said, thinking in other people's boxes, you know, is really an important point. And we've raised quite a number of topics on that today. Certainly I found in being involved and other participants in these things in the past, you know, you might have an immediate thought of something, oh, that was really interesting, I wanted to go into that in more depth. Thank you all very much. Thank you to Ilana, to Kai, to Prem for your fantastic your input on that today, and also to the facilitators who've done a great job. So really appreciate that. So thank you to you all, and we look forward to connecting and keeping in touch with you all. So have a good evening, good morning, wherever and that you are. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.